For anyone new or returning to fighting games after a long time, I put together a beginner guide on fighting game terminology. So we will go over frame data, how to use it, what does it mean, what does it do, all the notations, because Mortal Kombat notations are different from every other fighting game, and how exactly you use practice mode to learn a character in Mortal Kombat 1. Now it's going to be a lot of technical stuff, but trust me, once you know all of this, the knowledge is forever. And it can also be applied to any fighting game except the notations as I just mentioned, because they are different in NRS games. But if you want to just get better at fighting games, even if it's just to play online or just to beat up your friends, this guide will serve you well. But before Drill Sergeant Slayer comes out, let's look at our community art. This is a really dynamic action pose of Melina in her MK2 outfit. It looks so freaking cool. I love the colors and everything about this is freaking amazing. So I will leave a link to the artist's Twitter if you want to go like it, repost it, whatever it. So let us look at the notations because this is the basis of any fighting game and it's where you want to start. So the notations in Mortal Kombat 1 are vastly different from every other fighting game as I just mentioned. So we use 1, 2, 3, 4, which corresponds to every one of the face buttons on a controller. So square, triangle, X, and circle for PlayStation, and X, Y, A, B for Xbox. 1 is attributed to the square button, 2 to the triangle, 3 to X, and 4 to circle. Now in combo guides you will also see the letters B, D, F, U. So these are used for the directional pad. So they mean back, down, forward, and up. And S, that means standing. So that is a button that you press with your character is standing. You're not moving forward, you're not moving backwards, they're just standing there. So for example, standing 4 would just be your character in their default position and you hit the circle button. And that is a standing 4. Sometimes you will also see XX in a combo guide. That means cancel. So you go from an attack string and you cancel that string so you don't finish completely and go straight into a special move. But we will go more in depth when we talk about the frame data. And you will also see the term EX. Now EX is when you amplify a move, so in Mortal Kombat 1 it would be the block button. So you do a special move and hit the block button at the same time, which will enhance the special move. So those are all the important notations and terminology you need to know for Mortal Kombat 1. Next we're going to move into frame data and we're going to jump in MK11 for this. I wish I had MK1 footage of this to show you guys, but it's literally all the same thing. And I wanted to make a guide before the game comes out because when it comes out everyone is going to want to play and not just listen to guide videos, right? Learning a character cannot be done without some important fighting game knowledge that will be the cornerstone of everything we'll go over in this video. So let's look at frame data, what it is, how to read it, and what information can be gained from it. In fighting games, frame data is the most important thing to competitive players. Show them a character, their designs, they'll be like, okay, cool, but do they have a 7-frame mid? Every single animation that you see in the game has frame data attached to it. It dictates how quickly or slowly a move comes out, whether it's an attack string, a single button, a special move, and supers as well. It also tells you how many frames it takes for your character to recover from the move, essentially how long it takes from your character to go back to their idle stance, as shown here. Right, this is a jab, pretty quick. But the frames is how long it takes for Cassie to throw out the punch and go back to her idle fighting stance. During a move like that, there is nothing else you can do while it's active. Once the animation starts, you have to see it through. Which is why the recovery of a move, meaning the time it takes for your character to go back to their original stance, is extremely important if you do it on a blocked opponent. This is where you'll see the negative or positive numbers for every single move, which you can find of course in the move list. If it's positive, it means that it's safe to use on block and your opponent can't punish it, meaning that your character will recover quick enough that you can block after doing that particular move. If it's negative, however, well, it's the exact opposite. You won't be able to block as your character will be stuck in the recovery animation, which leaves you open to attacks. However, in Mortal Kombat games, up to -5, -6-ish, it's still considered to be safe. It will be very hard for your opponent to punish you. So in the frame data section on the right, if you look at the bottom, the square that says startup, That is how quickly a move comes out. And as you see, all of the moves have a very different startups. So to demonstrate how long it takes for this move to recover, I will hit the down button on the D-pad, and you'll see when I'm actually able to take control of the character is how long it takes for this move to recover. So I do it, which is a back one, right? Look how long it takes for me to actually be able to control Cassie. She goes through the animation of pulling the gun out, shooting it, putting it back in its holster, which leaves me extremely open to the opponent for a punish. Now if we go back in the move list, and we look at the circle in the middle of the frame data that says cancel. Now cancel means that you can follow up a certain move with a special or a super. So if this section says NA, then it means you cannot use a special after that particular move, so you can't use it to continue, extend, or finish combos with. So we'll go down the list until we find one, like right here. You cannot cancel out of Bloody Knuckles. Now moves will also have other properties, like if it's a low, meaning the opponent has to block crouching. And you can see here it says low. It doesn't say on the move list, which kind of sucks. But if they block standing, then this will hit them. So if I put Melina to block, she's blocking standing, right? But if you hit it low, it'll hit her. Now for an overhead, which is the second hit of Cassie's string, forward 4-2. They have to block it standing. To block crouching, the second hit is going to hit her because it's an overhead. So then you can start a combo, but you can't in the corner because Cassie cage. Now if the move is a mid, they can block crouching or standing. But if the move is a high, as you can see, it goes over their head, right? So they don't even need to be blocking, they can just neutral duck it and punish you. Except if you're close enough, well sometimes it'll hit because Mortal Kombat 11, but you know. Now this is very important to know, not only about your character, but your opponent's characters as well. You're able to punish their highs, but that's not exactly beginner stuff, so don't worry about that yet. You only get to complain that your main doesn't have a fast mid until 2 weeks in. So and now that we got those confusing numbers out of the way and you understand frame data perfectly, how do you learn to play a character in Mortal Kombat 1? Picking a main is a whole different story, but once you know who you want to play, here's what you should do first. Boot up practice mode with your character and go into the moves list. This is where you'll be spending your time for a while. And as I just showed you how to read this, you'll want to go through it. Go through each attack string and special and look at the frame data. So as you can see, basic attacks are just your one string attacks. So your back 1, back 2, up 2, down 2, and they do not incorporate the combo attacks. If you want to go to combo attacks, then you click on R1 and you'll see all the actual combo strings. Then R1 again, and it's all the specials. So what you want to do here is single out the moves that are quick and safe on block. Those will be your punishers and combo starters. So I know for playing Cassie that her punisher is her 1-1-1 string, which is this one, which I know it's kind of annoying because I'm using a PlayStation 5 controller and it's showing Xbox notations, but just roll with it. Because you know this is used to punish, you want to learn a combo off of this string. So for Cassie, it's something like this. And you need to analyze which moves are highs, which are lows, which are mids, right? Because sure, this one is a high. However, if you punish the opponent, they can duck it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you don't want to use it to actually start a combo. You want to use something like her back 2, which is a mid, or forward 4, which is a mid, right? Which, these are Cassie's like combo starters. Now, once you single out those moves, of course, they have to be cancelable. You can punish someone with a move that you can cancel into a full combo with. So, of course, the back 2-4 and a forward 4-1 are cancelable. Because you can see at the bottom left here, it says cancel advantage 39. And here it says 30. So you have 30 frames to actually react with a special. But if you use something like a down 2, you know, you can't cancel it. So obviously you shouldn't use that to punish your opponent, except if you want to use that mechanic in MK1, right, where you spend 2 bars to full combo punish, but that is besides the point. If you want to be optimal, you don't want to punish your opponent with a down 2 ever. So on the move list, you'll have every single hit of every combo listed in order, right? So sometimes the first 2 hits will be cancelable, but the third hit, as shown here, is not cancelable. And if the move like this one is -3 on block, then you can actually do that when your opponent is blocking instead of going into the special, which will make you open to opponent's attacks. But that is something that is harder to do, which is called hit confirming. If you see that you're hitting the character versus if you see them blocking, sometimes you have to be able to react extremely quickly, which is hard. But just knowing which things you can cancel into and not is extremely important, of course. Now, once you figure out the best strings, that's when you start figuring out what combos to do. You need a punish combo, and you'll need to know combos for every attack string that is cancelable. Now, learning combos in fighting games has to do a lot with muscle memory. So I have done this for many years, and I know it by heart, right? That is why I remember all the Cassie stuff, you know, even if I haven't played for freaking years, I still know it. It's like my fingers remembered which buttons to press without me thinking about it, right? Which is what muscle memory is in a way. It's repetition turning into an automatism, or however you say that word. It becomes automatic, okay? So you need to be able to practice or do combos on every side of the screen with your main. And I know it's hard, especially from this side. No one likes being on this side, but you need to know them, right? And once you do, that's when you'll become extremely comfortable with that character. But once you're able to do all of this and you've practiced every combo 10 to 15 times on each side of the screen, doing them in an actual match is completely different, right? Because you need to react quick enough to be like, okay, I can do this combo right now on the opponent, right? And you need to remember it, and your fingers need to cooperate with you, which, you know, is hard because, especially if you're playing online, you know, you're stressed out and stuff. So that's why I suggest going into like towers or something like that to practice these combos on the AI, and then you go online when you feel comfortable. So I think that's plenty of information for you to get started. And in my next guides, we will go over more intermediate concepts such as spacing with punishing, playing neutral, hit confirming, and all of that stuff. I hope this guide was useful for you guys. And as always, have yourself a very wonderful day, and I'll see you all very soon.